All right. Good morning. My name is Lerato, and today I will be doing training on Payrolls payslip processing and taking you through how to just create a company, a pay cycle, adding your employees, how to process a payslip, and the viewing of our reports. And I will be going through just a little bit of how you can process leave and go through our ESS. Right. If you have any questions, please send a message on the chat at any point, and then I will be answering all those questions at the end of the session. If at any point you do not hear me, please let me know so that I can just adjust some of my volume settings. All right, to begin, you will log in. If you don't have an account with us, you will click here on Try Payroll for free to register an account. Then you'll get a 30-day demo to continue, and then you'll go back here to log in. All right, so when you log in, it will depend again if you just have quite a few companies. If you have one company, it will open your company. If you have multiple companies, it will prompt you to choose which company you want to work in, as you see here. So you will select which one and select the company that you want to work in. Just select that. Right, so on the dashboard as well, what you see here is basically a shortcut of what is on the left-hand side, which is our menu. So what you see here is your pay cycle that you have created. So if you have one pay cycle like your monthly, you will have that set out there with the name and the month and the number of employees that belong to that cycle. So you can have one or multiple for your monthly, weekly, fortnightlies. Then we've got payslip processing, leave processing. You can view your employees, you can view reports, then you can change your company. You'll see a list of all your active employees here and which pay period they're currently in. All the processed employees, meaning you've went through the payslips, processed the payslips. So if an employee's payslip has not been processed, you'll be able to see which employee has not been processed, because as you try to go in a new month or in a new week or fortnight, you will not be able to move to a new period if some of the employees are unprocessed. And then you can view all your employees that are on leave and view all the employees that are terminated. Right here, we have a calendar where you can just add birthdays and tasks and to-do tasks. And right here, we have a payroll summary showing you all your company employees, company contributors, and this is for processed employees. So as you process your employees, it will basically just sum up all the company's contributions, benefit amounts, deduction amounts, and the net pay amounts. So you can always just go here to just see your total cost at that particular month for your processed employees. Okay, so to begin, you'll click select company, then you'll click here where it says create a new company. So when you create a new company, basically it's just you adding all your company details, where you have your company name, what type of company it is, and your reference numbers. Basically, if you do belong to, or if you are entitled to ETI as a company, you'll select the yes or no or the reason. Then you'll enter there the addresses. And then every time you update the information, it will go forward with all these screens. So because I have a company already set up, you go to company settings, company. So only then when you've created all your company, then you'll find your company details under company. Right. So you'll have that right there where you have your company information details there, right? Then you'll have your company representative details, the company's bank details, and the payroll setup. Now the payroll setup now, it will then, this is where you'll choose when you want to start processing in Payroll. So we've got all these tax years, so you can process for your previous tax years if you want to, if you may want to. But if you are going to start with us this year, then you start with tax year 2023, because we are in the tax year of 2023. And then you click here. So you can give your cycle a name. So it can either be monthly, weekly, or fortnightly. So you can either say monthly, and what will actually hold what cycle you belong to is by selecting which one you want to start working in. right? So you'll have fortnightly, monthly, or weekly. So you'll then select which cycle type you want to start processing for, or which of the cycles are in your company will you start working in. So it can either be fortnightly, weekly, or monthly, right? Then you're going to first select your first cycle end date. So if you are going to begin maybe in August, then you're going to select the end of, so it will automatically be there as the end of August, right? So it means that the first month then starts from the 1st of August to the end of August. So if your pay date is the 25th of every month, then it will take it from the previous period where it will now begin from the 24th, I think, to the 25th of the next month, or 26th to the 25th of next month, either of the way. So if you are going to select that you're starting here, then this is going to be your full month, right? So you can select any date there. You'll just have to be careful that, when you check your reports, you just always have to stipulate that this is the date that you actually want your reports to be viewed for it to view the full month, right? But it will have that date automatically set up for you as the 22nd on the 31st of August 2022 as the very first cycle end date, meaning you are starting to process in Palladium Payroll in August. But if it's in September or if it's in the previous period, then you'll select the correct dates there. So once it's added, you'll see there's a cycle name, then there's a cycle type, then there's a cycle end date. So if you've created a cycle and assigned it to the employees, you basically will not be able to edit the cycle or delete the cycle, but you can always create a new one and link it to the employee. All right, so as mentioned, you can reprocess your payroll from March and just do pay period updates to you in August. But if you're starting in August with us, then you have to then remember to capture take on balances for the beginning of the tax year from March till the end of July, so that you can then continue working into August going forward, of which I will show you how to go through that. All right, then we do have general ledger integration. So if you do make use of our Palladium accounting, you can integrate our payroll to our accounting. We do have a separate training session on that, basically taking you through on how to go about setting it up with a direct integration. That's if you have a server that you want to do a direct integration for, or you can either then do it manually. Okay. Then in Palladium Payroll, we also do cater for your medical aid and your fund setups. So if you do have a company medical aid, company pension provident fund, this is where you're going to set it up. So on the medical aid fund, you're just going to enter there the fund name and the scheme name. And then what you'll do as the first month setup on the pay slips is just set up how much the company contributes and how much the employee contributes towards the medical aid. And then you'll just select that as a recurring transaction for every month. This also goes for your company benefits, which are your pension provident funds. So what it will do, you will enter the fund name, what type, is it a pension or a provident fund? Then it will just ask, is it a defined contribution? So you get all these details from the fund itself. RFI%, now it will be 100%, meaning now it's 100% of the basic salary of the commission, whatever will have that as your total RFI, right? Then you can select if you want, or the contribution will be a percentage of the RFIs. So it will calculate either 5% of the basic salary of the commission or overtime. So if you select 5 there, it will basically just take 5% of the basic salary and 5% as of the basic salary to calculate the company contribution and the employee contribution. Obviously, it's not 5%. You'll enter the correct percentage for each of the contributions. But if it's a fixed amount, you'll just enter there what the total fixed amount for the company contribution is and the fixed amount for the employee contribution. And then every month, the system will then just calculate the correct contributions, and that is inclusive of the tax as well. Okay, so that's your fund setups. Then we've got your IRP5 validations, of which it will just let you know what you still need to have in order to submit successfully at the end of September. Okay, so the main screen here, when you create a company, basically it's just your payroll setup, just selecting the very first period that you're going to be working in. Remember, when you click here, you select your monthly, give it a name, select if it's monthly. It will automatically be or give you a date for the current month that you're currently in. But if it's for a future date, then you can select the correct date and click add. Okay, so that's how you create a new company in Palladium Payroll. Just the company details, company representative, bank details, and the payroll setup, as well as the fund setup. If you do make use of general ledger integration, you can have that set up, and we do have a separate training session for that as well. Okay, right, so I'm going to go to employees and how to set up your employees. Okay, so we've got two ways of now setting up an employee. So when you set up an employee as a first-time setup, you're going to click here, add employee, and then it will have those details with the employee information. Then we've got an import sheet. So as a first-time setup, if you go under admin and you go under import utility, we've got templates where you can have those employees set up so that you can import the employees. So we've got these imports. We've got the import master file, import year to date, import leave details, which are the main ones if you're going to work on Palladium as a first-time setup. Then we've got other imports like your timesheets and the employee master file for Pastel, only for Pastel at the moment, which is quite different. And then we've got timesheets for your clockouts, right? So if you want to make use of our import master file for your employees to sort of just have a direct import, you're going to select the import master file, then it's employee master. Then you can download the template, which is an Excel sheet that downloads to your machine, of which it will have columns of what you need to have in each column. So it's the name, surname, and physical address, and basically everything else that you'll need to fill in. Then you come back and you click here, my data has headers, you import the file, it will be imported, then you click import again, and your employees will reflect as such on the system. Then you'll have a list of your employees. But if you do it manually, then you click on add employee, and basically on the next screen, as you double click on the name of the employee, you will then see that you have to enter the employee information as follows. So it's the employee code, the ID number, name, basically just the personal details, the physical address, and the contact details. So this is also on the input sheet, on the template, of which you'll enter it by column, right? But if you enter it here, then it's just one by one. You can also enter a picture. On payment information is the employee's banking details, where you have your payment method, cash, check, or electronic transfer. If you select the third option, then you have to enter their banking details, and then you update the information. This information as well is available on the import sheet. Then you've got work information, of which is required the start date of the employee, what designation they belong to, what department they belong to. This is also available on the sheet, but if you do it here, you can actually just add your own department with any name that you want, and then it will be added there, which will be seen also on the payslip. Then you select a cycle type. So as you create a new company, where I've shown you how to create a payroll cycle and you add it, this is now when you select the cycle type. So once you've created the payroll cycle, you will then select which month, which cycle they belong to. So if it's only one, you will only have monthly there, then you click monthly. But if you've got weekly, fortnightly set up, then you'll select the correct one of it where the employee belongs to. All right. And then you'll see here, there's annual salary, monthly salary, rate per day, rate per hour, right? So you'll enter there their monthly salary. You can either enter the annual salary or the monthly salary. Either way, as you enter the monthly salary, it will adjust the annual salary. It will adjust the rate per day, basically calculate the rate per day, calculate the rate per hour, based on how many working days they work in a week. If they work on Monday to Saturday, as you see, it adjusts the rate per hour and the rate per day. Then you calculate the total hours per month. So the default will be 173.36, excuse me. But if you've got your own total hours per month, then you'll enter it there. Or if you've got your own hours per week or hours per day, then you'll enter those hours here, and then it will adjust the rate per day and the rate per hour accordingly to what you need it to be. Right, so you have to enter this information here in order to start processing the payslip. So if you don't have these details, like your cycle type or your monthly salary, then you will not be able to process this employee's payslip. Okay, so basically under work information, you will have your cycle type set up there, and your monthly salary set up there. Then if they don't work, if they work on a Monday to Friday, it's already ticked. But if they work on a Saturday or a Sunday normally, then it will adjust those hours for you. Okay, and then you update. Then we've got an employee self-service function, which is our ESS, which needs to be set up. So this thing is a platform which allows your employees to be the ones that log into ESS, the way they can view their leave, view their pay slips, and just manage their leave. Your employees at the moment in Palladium have to have email addresses in order to be able to access this portal. If they don't have email address, then they won't have the functionality to our ESS. So basically, as admin, you just as a new setup, it will basically just ask for the employee's email address and what passwords you want to use, and then you give the employees those details, and then they log in with the very same login screen that we used, and then it will be the ESS where they'll be able to manage the functionality, which is to apply for leave, to view payslips, and to manage their leave. And that's all you need to do, right, for them. Then you just update the employee. Then we've got a hierarchy of approval details if you want to set that up. So you can select that this employee is the manager and just select which employees report to this employee as the manager. So every time a Candace logs into ESS and applies for leave, Deborah will receive an email to say, Candace has applied for leave, please log in to approve for leave, right? So Deborah logging in will be logging in as the manager and an employee. So they will, as they open the ESS, they will also be able to apply for leave for themselves, but also to approve leave that has been requested by an employee. Right? So every time you select someone here, you're basically telling the system that these 4 employees are reporting to this person. And every time there's a change in ESS or a request for leave, then this employee will receive an email to say, please approve a leave for this particular person. Right? And now we'll go through that. Then we've got leave information. We do have a leave information template, that you can use to sort of just enter the balances for your leave. So again, that's also particularly for annual and family responsibility leave. That's particularly for the beginning of the financial year from March, right? But also it can go according to what you have as a balance as starting from Palladium going forward, right? So to do that, you're going to click on add leave type, and then you select annual leave. Then you're going to enter there what the balance is. So as a first time setup, you will have, if you're starting in August, you'll just enter how much of a balance they have from whichever date till the end of July. So once you've entered that, then you just enter the balance, and that's all you need to do. The system from August going forward, we'll calculate the days accrued depending on what the leave entitlement is, and then you just go forward. So on the template itself also, it has the take on balance. So you enter the take on balance and the leave entitlement and leave it as such. And every time you process a payslip, then the days accrued will be added to the take on balance and the employee will have a correct balance. Okay, this goes for annual leave, family responsibility, and sick leave. So for sick leave as well, we have a 3-year cycle, as you may know, for sick leave. So what has been set up as a start date there is exactly what the employee would receive as the, what is this, as the days due, right? Okay. All right. So the leave entitlement will be 30 days, right? And then the days due will then obviously just depend on what the employee has taken. All right. And then so on the template itself, then you'll just enter how many days the employee has taken within that 3-year cycle. And after 3 years, you will not have to go back and capture. The system will have already known what to do. Or to refresh the leave back to 30 days and refresh the days taken going forward. Okay, so basically to just enter the balances for any leave, we have quite a few leave that you can have there: annual leave, sick leave, family responsibility leave, of which you can just only enter the balances for and the leave entitlements for. Those are the only ones. And then for leave processing, you do it on the employee's payslip. Okay. Then we've got your tax information tab, of which you just enter the employee's tax number. If you don't have it, that's fine. Tax method is your normal SARS statutory tables, but if there's any other type of tax method, maybe an employee is a director, or this is an independent contractor and so forth, you will just enter the correct tax for that particular employee and the system will calculate as such. All right, someone just has their mic on. Please switch off your mic. All right, sorry about that. I just had to mute one person. All right, as I was saying, so for the tax method, it will always be on SARS statutory table, so it will calculate as per SARS standards. But if an employee is a director or independent contractor or so forth, then you'll just select which type of tax method you want to select there so that the system can calculate the tax correctly for you. All right, and then if you've got medical aid set up, then you just enter the medical aid beneficiaries, obviously for tax credit reasons. So if it's just the employee, you'll enter 1. If it's the employee and a spouse or children, you just enter the correct amount of beneficiaries. Then if you do have a private medical aid, so the deduction will not actually deduct off the employee's income, but they want the medical aid to reflect as a medical aid tax credit to get the credit for it. Then you'll enter there the fund name, how much they contribute towards their medical aid and the medical aid beneficiaries, and the tax credits will be calculated for the employee. This is also for the retirement annuity. If they have a private retirement annuity, they'll just enter there how much they contribute to that fund so that they can receive the correct taxable deduction. All right. If your company does qualify for ETI, then and also if the employee does qualify for ETI, you put in employee qualify for ETI. Of course, there are quite a few rules for ETI. Then you'll just enter how much the employee works, the minimum wage of the employee per hour, which you can get here under work information. And then you just tick there to say that the employees are fixed hours agreed to in a contract. So even though you tick employee qualifies for ETI, the system still does its own checks to see if the employee actually does qualify for ETI. Because, you know, it's not just that they qualify for ETI for the whole year. Every single month, the system does its own check to see if this employee qualifies for ETI. If the employee is South African, an ID number and age check, it does its own check so that it can give the correct ETI amount for that month for that particular employee. Right? So if you do qualify for ETI as a company as a whole, you can put employee qualifies for ETI and leave it there, and the system every month will do its own calculations. Okay, then we've got take on balances. So if you are beginning with us now and you need to capture take on balances from the beginning of the year, we do have, again, a template for that on our admin option, but you can enter the take on balances for each. So on income, your basic salary, basically any income that the employee received. So it will have basic salary and the amount. So you'll enter the amount from March till the end of July. What they got as a basic salary, commission, UIF, tax, and so forth, so that going forward, it just calculates the correct amounts. So you under income, you will click add. So I can't click add because I've done quite a few tests on my end, but when you click add, it will basically show you all the transactions and you just need to enter the amount. This also goes for your deductions, company contribution, and fringe benefits. So once you're done, you can leave as is. You can always edit the take on balances, or you can delete the take on balances. Please don't take on complete, otherwise it will lock the take on balances and you will not be able to edit or delete. You just click add and just leave as is, and the system will already have captured it. Right? We do also cater for loans or savings. So as you do your loans or savings, you can have an issue date, what the loan amount is, how much you agreed on to be a current repayment, and the system will calculate the number of repayments for the employee. This also goes for your garnishee and your savings, right? So if there are any savings, you can just select the savings for the employee, and then it will calculate the loan repayments. Then we've got employee documents. For the employee documents, you can click and drop anything you want to, like the ID numbers, ID documents, CVs, anything from your machine, and just drop them here, and then they will just stay on the system here. Then again, we've got your IRP5 validations. Okay, so we've created your company. We've added all your employees. Again, all these tabs here, most of these tabs are available on the employee template itself. Okay. All right, no problem. All right, so you just have that. So all this information here will be available on the template as you download the template, and then you just enter the details there. The main ones being the personal information, payment information. We've got a net pay report. So if you also a bank export. If you don't enter the employees' bank details, you will not be able to use the bank export, number one, and on the net pay report as well to view by electronic transfer, just to basically see the total of the net pay for the employees. Then the other main one being the work information, where you have to enter a start date, cycle type, and how much the employees earn on a monthly, weekly, or fortnightly basis. And the leave balances. So leave balances, just enter how much they have and the leave entitlement, and then you continue with the leave processing. Take on balances if you're starting in the middle of the year with us, and yeah, basically that's just it, right? Then we go over to payroll processing. Then we have payslip processing. Payslip processing now allows us to actually do the payslips for the employee. So what I meant is, as you select a payroll cycle, it may be set up. But if you have not entered the start date or the employee's salary, you will not be able to see the employee there. So it will stay like this. So if it stays like this, just ensure that you have the start date and the salary on the employee master file. Right. So as you select the employee, you will then see which employee you want to process for. Right? It's going to change that. So this is our payslip processing screen, where you have a payroll cycle and employee status. An employee will remain unprocessed if you have not processed the payslip. So when you click process here, the next step is to click save payslip, and the employee will be processed. So if you haven't gone through those steps, then an employee will remain unprocessed. Then you'll find the employees there. An employee will remain unprocessed if you have not gone through those steps, or you're in a new month, right? So if you're in a new month or a new week or a new fortnight, the employee, as you go in, will be under unprocessed until you process the pay slips. So I find mine under processed because I've already processed the pay slip, and then you will be able to go back and do the pay slip right there. So this is, it will show you your rate per hour, which processing period you're currently in. You can terminate an employee by clicking on end employment, selecting a termination date, paying out annual leave, which is an automatic calculation. But you also do have the transaction for it. If you don't want to actually just pay it out with the calculation, then you have to enter the termination reason. You can undo a payslip. If you've processed it, you can undo the payslip so that you can reprocess it. Then we've got all these tabs: your income, deduction, company contribution, fringe benefits, year-to-date leave, and leave history. So on our income, I do have basic salary already there, so which are mandatory transactions. So our mandatory transactions are your basic salary, tax, UIF, SDL, and UIF. So these will automatically be there. You won't have to enter them, and then they will have the amount. So it's the basic salary. Under deductions is your tax, which was already calculated. So if you click on PYE, it will show you exactly what has been calculated for this employee, or how tax has been calculated for this particular employee. If there's a medical aid tax credit, you'll be able to see it there, so it won't be shown as a separate transaction. Right, and then it will be able to show you year-to-dates as well. If you have periodic earnings, which do consist of your leave paid out and your annual bonuses, those are considered periodic earnings. Okay. And then you've got UIF, which shows you exactly how UIF was calculated, and for company contributions. If you want to add anything more, you click on add income. You've got all these transactions that you can select. So you put a tick there, you enter the amount, and then it will be added, right? We do also cater for your overtimes and your commission. So as you enter overtime there, these are all the overtime transactions. So if you click there and you click there, all you have to do is just to enter how many hours the employee worked as overtime, and then it will calculate the amount for you. All right, and then if you go to deductions, you'll have your PYE and your UIF. You can add a deduction. If there's a medical aid or a pension fund that you've already set up, you'll select which one it is and just enter the amount for the deduction and the pension fund or the provident fund. Then we just have quite a few transactions as well, as you see there. Then we do have additional tax for employees that want to pay additional tax towards their bonuses at the end of the year. So this goes also for all the other tabs, your company contributions and your fringe benefits, where you can just add transactions and add the amounts, right? Then we've got the year-to-date tab, basically just showing you what has been processed. Maybe in March or April, annual bonus was processed. So I'm just looking for basic salary. So it's not quite clear, but I just want to zoom out a bit for you to see. So as you see here, it will show you for this particular employee that in June, basic salary was 12.5, July it was 12.5, August it was 12.5, as you see it there. And commission, so basically what you've processed, then it will show you a total for all the transactions. And this goes for your deductions as well, where it showed you what tax was calculated for that period, and just all the other transactions. So this sort of just works like a monthly analysis for that particular employee, so that you don't always have to go back and view the report. You can just view it here, with your year-to-date and your year-to-date for fringe benefits and company contributions. All right. Then we have your leave tab. So on leave, this is where you can actually process the leave. So to process leave, you click add leave, select annual leave. To process, then it's date from, date to, then it will give you your due days, then it will say total days. So total days will be the days from to date to, and then how many due days the employee has, right? Then you can process any other leave as well, so that it can just take the leave correctly. So you'll have maybe sick leave, family responsibility, or whichever leave the employee is taking. Okay. So you'll do your leave processing there, and then we have your leave history for this particular employee that will show you the leave that the employee has taken in the previous months. So what you see here as the status, you'll see here approved. So what happens is if an employee applies for leave and the manager approves it, you'll find the leave just sitting here because it hasn't been processed. So depending on what the employee has requested, it will just be sitting here like this. And then when you log in, then the admin just processes the leave. But if you view it as a leave history, then you'll see that it has been approved. Or it will sit here with the comment approved only if it has been approved. Leave will not be here if it has not been approved. But if it has been deleted, it will just say it has been cancelled from ESS. So what is on ESS will directly go on to what is on the main system as well for leave. Okay. Now to move forward, as you click process, then you've got all those details. This is just a preview of the payslip, showing you the company name, the pay period, the company address, and so forth. And then we've got your earnings, your basic salary over time with the total earnings, total deductions inclusive of tax and UIF. Then you've got the net pay shown there with the STL and UIF. And if you have any fringe benefits, the totals will be shown there. And then you can click Save Payslip. So once you've clicked Save Payslips, it means you have processed the payslip. So it's processed, you're done with the payslip. But you can always go back, as I've shown you. If you click here, Process, you'll still find the employee here. If you need to change anything, you can change and edit, and then still process and save the payslip. Right, so what will actually lock what you've done is by doing a period update into the next month. So unless you haven't gotten to the next month, you can always just adjust and edit as you may like. Okay, so this is how you go through and process a payslip. Right, then we go over to pay period update. So on pay period update, you've basically just processed all the payslips. So you've processed, saved the payslips. So you've done all of that for your employees. Now you're ready to do a pay period update, or ready to view the pay slips or email the pay slips to the employees. So when you click on pay period update, you select the cycle that you want to then process for, and then this is the screen that you'll see. So it will have select processing period. It will always show the current period that you're currently in, show all the employees that are in the payroll system, and then it will show process. So if an employee is not processed, meaning you haven't clicked process and saved the payslip, you will not see a tick there, and meaning you will also not be able to do a period update. So at whichever point that you're trying to do a period update and it refuses, just check if the employee has been processed. Even when you terminate an employee, you still have to process that payslip. Right, so just check if the employee is processed and click period update. If you don't have period update, it means someone has not been processed. All right, so it will show you the employee code, employee name, email address, whether they processed or not, and then you can preview payslips. As you preview a payslip, this is the payslip. This is how it looks. This is our traditional payslip. We have 3 layouts for payslip, which is traditional, contemporary, and confidential. So you can always go about changing that, and I'll show you how to do so at a later stage. But this is how the payslip just looks with the employee's code, pay period, the rate per hour. Can always customize this for you if there's stuff that you don't want to see on the payslip for your employees. Then we've got gross income. So it's a basic salary as shown with the incomes, the deductions, the net salary, showing you what's the total payable. On the payslip will also show you your year-to-date totals, and then it will show the employee leave details, right? Attendance details is just also for the top card if you use that, but if you don't want to see this on the payslip, then we can also remove that on the payslip. So this is our traditional payslip, and we've got 3 layouts for that. Then we've got the option to email payslips. So as you email all payslips, if you click email all, then you click on send email, it will ask you this question. So you can either send all the payslips to one person, which is the company representative of which you set up when you create a company. So you can email all the payslips to one employee, to one person, which is the admin or the company representative, and then you can select either individual employee. So if you select individual employee, their payslips will be sent to them via email. If an employee doesn't have an email address, they will not receive it via email. And then also on ESS, they're also able to view their payslips, and it will still be shown as with this logo, right? But not the current payslips, because you can always go back and edit. Only when you've done a period update that the employee can view the payslips for the previous month or this month for. Okay. So you can view the payslip, you can email all the payslips, or you can print the payslips for yourself or download for yourself. Or you can do per employee as shown there. Then you can also just preview previous periods payslips. Right? So you can also just view or email previous periods payslips as you see here. Okay. So when you're done and you're done with this month's payslips, you've emailed the payslips, or you've just viewed, or you're done, you click period update. It will ask you, are you sure you want to do a period update? So you're going to say yes, and then you will be in the new month or the new week or the new fortnight. Excuse me. All right. So this is when you click period update, you're basically just telling the system you've wrapped up all your payslips and you're ready to go to a new month. Right. Again, you can email all your payslips to your employees if they need them now. But on ESS, you have to do a pay period update first for them to view this month's payslips. Okay. Then we go over to our reports. So we have quite a few reports that you can use. I'll just show you the main ones, being our statutory reports. We've got the UIF export, which creates the little file that you can email or import into for UIF Labour Department. Then we've got your EMP 201, of which you can view for each month that you may need to view it for, even for a previous year. If you've been using the system. Then you've got your OID report. We've got your IRP5 electronic certificates. At the moment, it's just the file that you're importing to e-filing or easy file. But in the next month, we will have the actual electronic certificates for which you can supply over to your employees. So it will you'll basically just have to enter the details and view the validation report, meaning you'll just have to see what is missing or what you still need to fix in order to do your submission successfully. And then when you click generate, it creates that little file that you're importing to easy file or e-filing. All right. And then we've got your EMP 501 that you can view half yearly, full year for the full year, or for your custom dates that you can use for as you do your annual or biannual submissions. Then we've got your payroll report. So these are all our payroll reports, your bank export, payroll summary, monthly recon, and the net pay. Then we've got the payslip, right? So you can view the payslips here as well for any year if you've been using with us for quite a while. So what I wanted to show you is our 3 main different payslips that you can use. So if you say confidential, this is how our confidential payslip looks. It will look like this with all the detail. Then we've got the contemporary, which also looks like this, almost looking like a confidential one. And then we've got your traditional, which is the one that I showed you, right? So you can choose which payslip or payslip layout you want to view it for. Right, then we've got the net pay report. So the net pay report is basically showing you the net pay of the employees in their report, right? So what you'll see here, you'll select the processing period of when you need to see the net pay report form. Right, I'll just select 2023. There you are, and then select generate. right? So what it will show you, let me just go back to a previous period. Okay, so as I said, if you don't have the employees' banking details, you won't be able to see the reports. I think for me, for most of my employees, some of them don't have. If I maybe select another one, let's see if there we are. So we've got the net pay report, which looks like this. It has the employee code, the employee name, how they are paid by cash or electronic transfer, bank name, bank account number, and the net pay. Right? So if they paid by cash, it will just show their net pay. If they paid by bank transfer, it will show the bank name and the account number, and then the net pay. And then it will show you the amount for each payment type, sorry, as you see here. And then it will give you the total pay for all the employees. Right? So if they all use banking details, if they all have banking details, then you'll see them with their banking numbers, with their net pay, and then it will sum up the net pays. And then we also have the bank export. So on the bank export, we cater for these banks currently. So if you make use of these banks as a company, you can use these banks. And then we do have net cash. So if you select, if you work with Absa Bank, for instance, to pay your employees, you'll select Absa Bank. Then if it's F&B, then you'll select which file layout, which F&B will be able to assist with. If you're not sure, then you select which cycle you want to pay for. It will, if you have one cycle, it will show only that cycle. But if you have quite a few, then you will say you're paying your weekly employees, your fortnightly employees. The current period will always processing period will always be the current period that you want to process for. And then we've got your employees that you want to pay, as you see them there. You can select all, or maybe you just want to pay one employee, and then you click generate. When you click generate, it will just want you to confirm the information, meaning that you are now ready to pay the employee, or to create, and then it creates a little file for you to import into your banking information, into your banking system, sorry. So again, looking like a net pay report, it will show you the employee code, the employee name, the department designation, account name, account number, branch code, amount, and if the employee is processed. So you can again either select all that you're paying all the employee, or just one. Then you need to confirm the information after checking, or you can download, right? So if you confirm, it means you're happy with it, and it automatically downloads the file for you. So all the files also have the correct file layouts for each bank. So as you import them in your banking, it will obviously just take you through the steps, and then you will be ready now to just pay the employees. Okay, so yeah, that's just it on our reports. Then we've got your leave reports, just showing you the leave balances, how much they have. Then you can view, the date from to date to for their leave and so forth for the employees. Okay, so that's just it on payroll processing. Went through how to create a company, creating your employees, processing a payslip, doing a period update, and viewing our reports. So I wanted to just take you through. Okay, are there no chances that the payslip will be hacked when emailing, given that they're confidential documents? Yes, so what happens now is, when we open your payslips, right, it has an encryption. So the encryption is the employee password. So the password is automatically set as the employee's ID or passport number. So the employee, when they open the payslips, it will first ask for the ID number before opening the payslip. So I think that's the main security, or the only security that they may have, just to ensure that nobody else can have access to their payslips. But if someone else knows their ID numbers, then it might be a problem. All right. Okay, so from Kelly, how many payroll administrators can be set up? As many as you like. So we don't have a limit on how many users you can have. I'll just go through that before ending this session. So we've got where you can create users, and basically you just select which functions they should or can have access to. So by doing that, you click on admin. Right, just close that. Click on admin, then there's user creation. Right, so we don't have a limit on the users. You can add as many users as you want, as you see here. So you create as many users as you want, and then you go through the process of just selecting what functions they have access to, meaning they have access to create a new employee, to edit employees, to view payslips, or to edit payslips, or to actually process the payslips, to view reports. So basically you just, these are the options: to view, to save, or to delete, and these are all the options to select. So these are master file settings, so mainly your payroll cycle, your account payment type, basically just on the master file options. Then it's processing. Do they have access to pay frequencies? Are they able to change anything on pay frequencies? Then we've got your functionality name, payslip recording. Are they able to record to process payslips? So you just select yes or no there. So there's no limit. You can create as many users as you may like, right? Again, to show you our ESS quickly before ending the session. This is how our ESS looks. So because I don't have information, this is the calendar. It will basically show you birthdays for 1, 2, it will show you which employee is on leave. And this is for the employee themselves. Again, the employee has to have an email address for them to be able to access their ESS. Then the dashboard has the apply leave, pay slips, personal details, leave report, and leave balances. So they are able to apply for leave. On our apply leave screen, they can view their leave balances by clicking on annual leave, check balance. Then they'll be able to see how many days they have, what's the opening balance, leave days taken, and due days. Then they can project their leave for your December leave, saying maybe in December they want to see how many days they may have. And then it will just show you that by a certain date, whatever date they've selected, they will have this many days as leave. Right, and then you click add. So when they click add, then it will basically just take them through applying for leave, meaning what type of leave, how many days, and the reason. And then you can select half day, full day, or second half of the day. Then you save. So if there's a manager set up, the minute they click save, it goes to the manager, and the manager will receive an email to say so and so has applied for leave. They go into the ESS, and then they approve for leave. They approve the leave. Once the leave has been approved, it will be on the employee's payslip, which the admin user just needs to then process. Okay, I think our internet is just a bit slow, so I'll just move on. Then we've got payslips. Then they can view their payslips. So they're able to view their payslips for any period. They also, so when they generate it, they can view it, and they can also email their payslips to themselves if they want to. Then we've got personal details. So our personal details, meaning it will show the employee's personal details, of course, as you see here, payment information, tax information. They are able to also drop and save their files if they want to. Okay. And then they can also view their leave reports. So on their leave reports, they're basically able to see again their leave balances in a report type of view. Then again, they're also able to view, to view their leave balances as you see here, looking like this for each leave type. Okay. Guys, I don't know if there are any other questions, but this is Payroll's payslip processing ESS processing training session. I hope it was informative, quite simple, covered the basics of it. But obviously, if you just need any assistance, if you need more information, please don't hesitate to contact us and we will be able to assist. Are there any questions? Okay. All right, so there are no questions. Thank you so much for joining us. Please join us for next week's sessions as well. We will be going through just how to customize your reports. So we do have a customization, how to customize your reports or your pay slips and so forth. So yeah, thank you for joining us and have a good day further.